And greeting y'all, welcome back to Subnautica Below Zero. This morning we are going to continue with our conversation on warning signs for those that may be at risk of self-harm or suicide. Now, some of these I experienced myself in person when I had my attempt in 2018, and some of these I did not. I don't believe that every person may experience all of the known symptoms or show all the signs. So we'll just start out at the top here and discuss being sad or real moody. Now, when I had my attempt, I was in a pretty dark place. The gal that I had been dating for a year and a half, it turned out, was moonlighting as an escort and had lied to me about it. When we had first started dating, I asked, hey, is there anything that I should know that could be detrimental to our relationship? And, you know, such as, do you have any felony warrants? Are you batshit crazy? Anything like that? Have you ever been in a mental institution or anything like that? And she told me no. And I was good with that. I was like, okay, you know, I mean, relationships are built on trust. If you can't trust your partner, I mean, you're in pretty bad shape. And so I trusted her.
100 meters.
And then about a year and a half in, a friend of mine came to me, and he says, hey dude, isn't this your lady? And lo and behold, there's an ad that she had up on what used to be Backpage. And using photographs I had taken of her when we had gone to spend a weekend in California at the beach. So when she came home that night, I confronted her, and her response was, it's none of your business. That, like, crushed me. And so, you know, I kicked her out of the house, threw all of her stuff out, and haven't spoken to her since. Now, for my own good, I've since been able to forgive her for that, you know, but would I ever trust her again to tell me the truth, or anybody the truth for that matter? No way in hell. I truly hope that her life she's been able to turn her life around, is no longer having to make a living doing that type of work. I believe it's degrading to not only her, but the person that is paying for such services. So, you know, that made me, you know, just, not only did it obviously increase my sadness, but made me real moody, and which was, you know, not beneficial in any way. So, keep an eye out on those that you care about, and if you see them getting moody or sad, if they've had a history of mood swings or depression, you know, become aware of that. That's not to say that alone can be what's words I'm looking for, a sign that there's any danger imminent, but it can be a sign that there's issues, you know. So, you know, if someone who's not normally moody, not normally withdrawn or sad, and all of a sudden they are, you may want to, you know, not be shy. Just ask them, hey, are you doing okay? Are you thinking of hurting yourself, maybe hurting others?
Oxygen efficiency decreased.
You know, another one If a person is normally has problems with anxiety, is fidgety, hyper sensitive, hyper aware, and all of a sudden they become real calm, that can often be a sign that something real bad is about to take place. So once again, you know, ask the damn question, you know, or questions, excuse me. You know, are you doing okay? Are you thinking of hurting yourself? Are you thinking of hurting others? You know, if they start withdrawing, where let's say they are normally a pretty social person, they like to go out and for drinks or to go out and play pool, or they're pretty active locally, and then all of a sudden it just stops. And they withdraw from everybody. They start withdrawing from their friends, their family, you know. Be aware of that, because that could be a sign that there's something not going on too. Which can lead to changes in personality, their appearance. Maybe their sleep is all jacked up. Maybe they're a real clean person, and all of a sudden, you notice that they're not bathing, or they're not washing their clothes, or something like that. You know, they're disheveled all the time. These are things you need to be aware of. And look, and once again, ask the damn questions. The worst thing you can do is not ask the question. Never be afraid of offending them because you asked them, hey, are you thinking about doing yourself? You know, are you thinking about harming others? The absolute worst thing you can do is not ask. If all of a sudden, or you see a slow creep up in attitude, where let's see, maybe they were grouchy, or they were happy, and then it starts changing towards the other direction. Be aware of that. Now, not always is, if someone's been a grouchy person like me most of my life, and all of a sudden they, you know, you see that there's what appears to be happiness and joy in their life. That can be actually be a real positive thing, to where maybe they have come to terms with a few things and are able to get past it. Maybe they've been in therapy that you didn't know about, and they're starting to do real well. You know, so not always is a mood change negative. It can be a positive thing, but you need to be aware and watch to see the direction. If you see big changes in their sleep pattern, let's say normally they do get an average of 6-7 hours of sleep, you know, then all of a sudden, you know, it starts creeping up where they're sleeping 8, 12, 14, 16 hours a day. You know, they may, like me, my sleep went from normally 4 to 6 hours, which had been normal for me for years. Then all of a sudden I was sleeping, you know, 12 hours. I'd be up for 2 hours, then I'd sleep for another 12 hours. These are changes that you need to be aware of, and you can only be aware of them if you're involved in this person's life. Or if they normally have a stable sleep pattern and all of a sudden they're not sleeping. You know, once again, this can be a sign of bad things to come. You know, and not always is you think, oh, you know, they're going to come out of it, it'll be okay, you know, it's just a phase they're going through. When you start to see these signs, you need to ask questions immediately and right away, because sometimes, for some people, you may not have the benefit, or you may not have the benefit of waiting a couple days, a couple weeks, or a month to ask a question. You know, it may come on suddenly, and they make a decision and act upon it. So when you start seeing signs, ask the damn questions. If you see them start doing, let's say they've always been a real safe person. They ride a bicycle with all the safety gear, motorcycle with all safety gear, and then all of a sudden you see that they're taking risks that you know that they would normally never take, disregarding being safe. Questions. Hey, what's up with you? You were always the person that preached safety, and now all of a sudden you're the one that's all crazy psycho and doing weird stuff. So be aware of these things. Have they recently experienced a trauma or a major crisis in their life, such as the death of a loved one they were super close with, a family member, a friend? Maybe they were in a traumatic accident and where there was multiple people that were, unfortunately lost their lives, and for some reason it seems like miraculously they not only lived, but they weren't even hurt, or they were barely even hurt. I know that being what they call the lone survivor can play hell on a person's mind. I've got brothers and sisters that I was served with in the military that their vehicles were hit with an IED and they were the only one that lived. And they asked themselves every day, why me? Why did I live and my friends have to die? What did I do to live? Sometimes they think maybe, they were cursed.
Warning,
because they lived.
100 meters.
Where
Oxygen
sometimes they think,
decreased.
Why was I blessed and my friends cursed? What did my friends do wrong? These are all thoughts that can lead to exceptionally dangerous patterns, and so you need to be aware of these things, and if you have a friend or a loved one that has recently suffered a crisis or a trauma of some kind, stay involved. Go over, see them, invite them over to have a barbecue, to dinner. If you start, seeing multiple signs that are combined, like withdrawing after some type of crisis and or trauma, all of a sudden they went from being neat to dirty, or dirty to neat. If there's major changes, get involved, ask the damn questions. These people are your loved ones, your friends, your brothers, your sisters. If you see that they, are mourning or seem to stay in a constant state of despair, everything is negative, everything is bad. For myself, I have a real tendency to believe and deal in absolutes. There's no gray area. Something is either yay or nay, good or evil, black or white. There's no gray areas for me in a lot of areas, and it's one of the things that me and my therapist and my psychiatrist are working on, is to help me understand that not everything is in one side of the podium or the other. If you see a friend or a loved one all of a sudden making preparations, they start giving away things, mementos, things that that were important to them, and all of a sudden they're gifting them to somebody else, or just gifting them to you, or let's say this person has maybe not had any life insurance, never worried about it, and all of a sudden they go out and get a policy out of the blue for what appears to be no reason. Pay attention to that. These could be, they might be looking for ways to making their final preparations to check out to make sure everything is taken care of. If they've never had a will, then all of a sudden they're getting a will. Sometimes you'll might be able to catch and see if you're super evolved where they're doing online research or on ways to die, the most effective ways to die, stuff like that. Ask the damn questions. Hey, what's going on? Are you okay? I'm real concerned, you know, and don't be afraid to tell them, hey, you're scaring me. What is going on with you, you know? Sometimes it may involve, you know, you for a time opening your home to them, letting them come and stay with you, live with you until they can get back on their feet, till they get help. Whatever it takes, but you know, be there for them. Or if they just flat blatantly say, hey, I'm done in this world and I'm going to kill myself. Now, not every time does somebody say, I'm going to kill myself, do they actually kill themselves. But take it serious, because you never know when that will be the time that they decide, you know, nobody takes me serious, I've been saying this for a long time, and now I'm going to do it. So if someone is threatening, get them help. Assume that they are serious and that they do plan to harm themselves. If they have historically never owned a firearm, and all of a sudden they go out and buy a gun, that should be a massive red flag. And pay attention to these things. Don't be afraid to get help on their behalf, you know, because they may not want your help, but they may listen to another. So if you see these signs, don't be afraid to call, you know, the sheriff's department or the police department and say, hey, my best friend is doing this and I'm afraid that, you know, they are going to harm themselves, or my best friend has been acting this way and now they went and bought a firearm and I'm scared that they're going to use it to harm themselves. So, once again, don't be afraid to ask the questions. There is nothing wrong with, and even though it may seem like, oh man, they're going to hate me, they're going to think, you know, I don't trust them or something, bullshit. That is never not the case. You know, they may be upset, they may get angry, they may say, hey, it's none of your business and all that, but inside they're appreciative of that and they know it. Even though, you know, at the time they may not be, you know, it may be very frustrating for them or embarrassing, you know, because they might feel like, dadgummit, and I got caught, what am I going to do? Another sign to watch for is if they, you know, show one or more of the signs and then all of a sudden they take a sudden trip. They want to go hiking or camping by themselves.
Warning.
I would suggest don't let them do that.
Oxygen
Go with them,
decreased.
follow them, tag their damn phone, whatever you need to do. But if someone is showing what we call red flags, do not let them be by themselves. Take care of them. These are people that you love, you know. And so now I have to preface here, you know, I am not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist. All I can do is speak from my own experience and what I went through, and some days what I continue to go through. I have moments where I get really down. There's times where I won't leave my house other than to go get necessary groceries for weeks on end. So, you know, and fortunately I have friends here. I've got friends in multiple states that reach out to me, email me, call me at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, say, hey, what's going on with you, talk to me, you know. So be that person. Be that annoying friend that says, hey, what the hell is going on? Talk to me. And don't listen to them to respond. Listen to understand. Try and understand from their point of view, because oftentimes when those of us that get to that point, we don't think about the repercussions of what's gonna those of our friends and family that are gonna have to clean up the mess. All we can see is that we are a hindrance, we are a failure, nothing's gonna get better, and this is the absolute best decision I can make for everybody involved. Now, we know that that is a lie, and that is not true, but that is how the person that is in that situation sees things. I still am dealing with things, like not being able to enjoy things like I used to. I think I've said in others, I own a beautiful 2011 Harley Davidson Road King touring bike, and I haven't even started it in 8 months. I haven't ridden in over a year. It's most of it is because it seems like I have lost the joy in doing a lot of things I used to do. Partially is because, where I live, it's desolate, it's ugly, it's hot, so I don't enjoy riding here. But some of it is because I just have lost a lot of enjoyment and joy in the things I used to partake in. And this is an area where my therapist, myself, my psychiatrist, we're all working on, we're discussing, and it's getting better. Recently, I became a Christian and was baptized on September 24th, and I have found a lot of encouragement in reading the scripture. That may be something that would benefit or help somebody that's listening. I won't judge, I'm not going to preach to you. I can just tell you what is working or not working for myself. So, with that being said, I would really, really, really encourage y'all, if you have friends or family that are suffering and they're suffering, get involved, please. Ask the questions and, be that friend, be that family member that says, hey, no, you are important. We love you despite your faults, or more importantly, because of your faults, we love you. And that you are important not only to us, but to everybody else, and that you are needed. You have benefit in this world and this life. So, some things to think about. I hope that this video gives somebody some encouragement, that this little series I'm doing helps somebody out there, whether they're contemplating self-harm or they're a family member or a loved one of somebody that may be contemplating it. Once again, you'll find the links in the description for the book Tears of a Warrior. I believe that would help even those that were non-military affiliated. You can get it on Amazon, great book. But also the links to the suicide prevention hotlines for our civilian and military in the description. Now, these lines are for in the United States. I don't know, and I will try and find some for other regions and put them in the description. But hey, y'all, be blessed. I hope you have a great and wonderful day or night, depending on what side of this planet you're on. And this is Old Man Gib, and I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.